Hey everyone, this is Cecil. What? Wow. I don't know where that came from. Anyway. Alright, anyway. This is Phreak. Sorry, there you go. No idea why I said Cecil. Holy crap. Alright, anyway. This is Phreak bringing you an audio from WCR obviously. And it is of, well, you know the player screen. I'm not telling you it. Alright, but this is going to be about, obviously, the PhilboT Strat. And it's his point of view of Fog of War on 1x speed, 1 minute mark. And you get a pause there. PhilboT's point of view, as I said. Phil Morado, whatever. Anyway, if you have noticed his record on Calendar, it's freaking good. Seriously, he's playing with 2 seconds lag almost against people who have like 0 lag, like it's practically LAN, and he's beating them. So obviously he's doing something right. And ultimately, I think this audio more than anything is going to be sort of telling you what the strategy is and sort of some preconceptions about it and whatnot. Really, the first thing to get out of the way, and it's the major preconception, and it's really the most sort of obvious one, in that it's not about the fiends. All right, like I mean, he's the most noticeable sort of player in the aspect that he goes fiends, like, or that's what people associate PhilboT with fiends. Because, everything else is like, a standard unit. Destroyers, A-bombs, they're all normal units. The DK and the Lich, those are normal to get. The thing that distinguishes him is that he gets, Fiends first, and he gets a Naga third. But the thing is, it's not really about the Fiends, though. Like, even though that's the one main difference, that's not at all what his strat's about. I mean, he gets tier 3 incredibly quickly, and, he pretty much keeps himself to 5 Fiends for a lot of the game until he finds out what his opponent's making. And so if you're ever, like, fighting a Fiend build, or, doing it yourself, just realize that it's not about the Crypt Fiends. That's not what the strat is. So if you're fighting against it, don't make a big anti-Crypt Fiend counter. Make a big sort of anti-Destroyer counter. I'm not saying mass Dryads because they're killed by Fiends, but you have to get the right mix. And so it'll be pretty much, I'll be talking about sort of what he's getting and why, and everything. So let's go ahead and unpause. We're at 1 minute mark. Phil's point of view, 1x speed, Fog of War on. Let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. Now, I do have a cold or prolonged set of allergies, I don't know, something. But, yeah, my nose is screwed up. So you can kind of hear it. I can do that, and yeah. So, you're going to see what's good about this strat. First of all, you can see that he's doing a build of Cryptgrave, Zig, Altar, Relics. And I guess that makes some sense in the build. I personally like to go Cryptgrave, Altar, Zig, because you can see he doesn't need the Ziggurat yet. He's not using the food, right? He's at 9 of whatever food, and now he started his Fiend. Well, if you reverse the Altar and Ziggurat position, they'd be about the same. Or really, he'd have started his Fiend, maybe a second or 2 seconds later, and his DK would already be started at the same time as that Fiend. Because a Ziggurat takes less time to build than an Altar. Alright? Now this rationale worked with Mad Frog. I was obviously a game that Mad Frog was playing. It's a clanmate of mine. I was saying, look, dude, Crypt Altar Zig is better because you will get a faster hero. A Ziggurat takes less time to build than an Altar. Why don't you just build the Altar first? It'll save you, 2 seconds, you'll get a 2 second faster hero, You're not capping at food. I've gone Crypt Altar Zig since I started playing Undead and Rock, and seriously, you just simply get a fast hero. There is no other downside at all. There is no downside. So why don't you do it if you get a 2 second faster hero? So, and the same thing with the Crypt Fiend build. If you're going to be, I mean, if the limiting reactant is a Ziggurat, put the Altar in front of the Ziggurat so you can start your hero a little bit faster, because, that matters. You got something like, I mean, right now, he has 2 Fiends out, and then his hero comes out. With my build, I freaking have 1 Crypt Fiend out, the second one's halfway done, and my hero's out. And I mean, and I'm not, like, delaying the Crypt Fiends by more than 1 or 2 seconds, so it matters. In any event, what's going on now is he's simply making his Crypt Fiends. And he's pacing his resources. And notice he's also putting his ghouls next to the graveyard. He's got his build placement pretty well refined so that he's got everything clustered together very tightly, which matters a lot when you're playing against melee troops. When you're massing range, you need your base clustered. Now, you can't hardly make a base build with Undead buildings, because the Necropolis is just simply so fat. But I mean, you're always going to be able to move crypt fiends about in this base. I mean, there's no funnel except between the ziggurat and the altar, in his base. So he can do anything there. He can run around, and all the melee troops are stuck single file, and they will get killed. Now, coil creeping, that's something also that I'm a big proponent of. I mean, look, if it's freaking, like, if you have just, what am I trying to say? Okay, yeah, mana is going to regenerate if you spend it. Otherwise, it's not. So you might as well spend your mana so that it regenerates, and you end up creeping a little bit faster. See, by coiling that initial creep, it ensured that he would get rid of that, hopefully before he got creepjacked. Taking 100 hit points off of that, when it only has 450 max, makes a pretty big difference. So, especially when his only source of damage is, piercing crypt fiends and fairly low damage skeletons. He's only got, 2, 3, 4 of them. It's not a lot. I mean, it doesn't add up very quickly. So, that is a big sort of boost to his creeping speed. And if it was something, really game-turning, and his opponent got it instead of him, that would be a big deal. For instance, Book of the Dead right now, like, let's say dual Book of the Dead for the 9-off right now, he attacked, he could just about, kill his opponent. It's, could happen. So anyway, he's creeping, etc., doing that whole deal. And mainly his strategy revolves around getting EXP fast. I mean, he's going to be level 3 before he even finishes tier 2. That's something you can't always do, either because you're playing harassing with Undead, or you just don't creep as fast. I mean, it's a big deal to make sure you creep as quickly as possible and you get the most EXP as possible. That's what his strat relies on. Because pretty much the PhilboT strat is this. You kill heroes and you pick off units. And you do that for freaking ever. Now that's sort of why he goes feats. You can't pick off a unit with ghouls. You have to sit there and fight. You have to surround. You have to fight. You have to sit there. And you've got a high probability of simply dying because all your units are right next to him. You get level 3 on Holy Aura and stuff, and you've got a bunch of crypt fiends. You're going to be in pretty good shape. When you've got Coil, Nova, Frost Arrows, Forked Lightning, you've got all these range types of damage. The only melee troop he really has is a DK and some skeletons. Luckily for him, he's got a Hellstone, which is going to really mean a lot to him. So, alright, now you can see what's going on. He's just creeping around. Now, that was a pretty small creep camp to creep, but ultimately it was for the skeletons. I mean, now, I don't think he's going to be coiling any skeletons. I don't think this is diabolical playing, but, that's another sort of one of the small things you do when you're going feeds, is you need skeletons out to creep, essentially. I mean, this is his second rod he's bought, he spent 300 gold on buying Rods of Necromancy, and he hasn't even earned that back, from the gold of creeps. Maybe he's sort of close to it. I guess this camp will be worth about, 50, 60 gold in terms of creeps. Then, some of the other camps worth, good 50, 60 gold. He's not quite paid for the Rods of Necromancy. But, he gets it back in terms of, holy crap, brain's not working. He's getting it back in terms of items and EXP. There we go. As you can see, his DK is almost 4, and he's almost got 1,000 hit points already. That's insane. And you can see right now, getting ziggurats at a slaughterhouse, and, he's going to be getting his Lich soon. And unfortunately, he doesn't have any skeletons here because he forgot to bring them with. That's really, pretty hurting to him, Because right here, he would be not taking damage as DK. He's already lost a bunch of hit points on his Death Knight from that. Luckily, he's got level 4 and he gets some interesting items. But, he would have been better off with the skeletons in front. But, now they've been ensnared, so it really doesn't matter. It just would have been better off. Because they'd be helping deal damage, and, yeah. So try not to forget your skeletons. Try not to coil them either, but, try not to forget your skeletons. And now he's seeing sort of Dark Minion scouts. Best thing you can do, if you're getting scouted by a summon, instantly focus it. It's like, if you're creeping and suddenly a sort of small unit comes in, focus it instantly, because chances are, if it's something like a skeleton, it's not going to be microed away. It's also, it's going to die eventually to the timer, so why don't you get EXP out of it, right? But now we've seen that his opponent's got Dark Ranger, Keep the Grove, a little bit weird, and, there's some Dark Minions coming in there, and he's like, what's going on? There's a bunch of sort of uncoilable frontline. And it's almost not worth it to focus them just because they're simply they just simply come out of the ground, for essentially no cost aside from mana, and big deal, mana regenerates on its own. So, he's got his high level DK, and he's getting his Lich, he's getting tier 3, which he just started now, you can see. He realizes that he can't fight against Keeper of the Grove, and that's one of the things, if you ever fight against a Keeper, realize that you need a way of. There we go. And he waits for the damage to go down and coil. Go go go. That's a free archer to kill. You can do it. No, no mana. My bad. All right. Anyway, when you're fighting against something like a keeper, and you're fighting against this army that's essentially the counter to fiends, right? Suho went for the counter to fiends. That's exactly what he did. He's like, okay, this guy's got fiends. I'm gonna build a counter to it. And so you can see he's making Dark Ranger, Keeper of the Grove, archers. Pretty much the best thing you can do against fiends. However, Phil, you can see, already has 2 towers up. Or we actually put them up quite a long time ago, but still, he's got 2 towers up. So it's very hard to rush his base. And, he's aware that when he's fighting against people this good, one of the very common Night Elf strats is to rush pretty much right at tier 2. Night Elves will rush after the Undead army. Undead base, sorry, right as they hit tier 2, which means they don't have Gargs out yet. All they've got is like, 6, 7 flimsy ghouls. Maybe they've been hurt from being creeping. Death Knight's maybe level 2. He's got like no items or anything, and you've got, Beastmaster Panda, or, in this case, you've got your Dark Ranger and Keeper. But, originally Phil was thinking of, this sort of tier 2 rush thing, which would, completely kill him. That's something you have to think about as Undead players if you're playing, with Ghoul Garg or anything, that a tier 2 rush is very common. Now, in any event, you can see that instantly he's doing the spell creeping, and he used a potion of mana, which is a little odd, but pretty much the reason is because the Lich is going to be tanking. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of armor and anything, but the fact that it's the most easily healed. I mean, it's a lot easier to see your Lich getting hurt than to see a Fiend getting hurt, because there's a little flashing portrait in the top left corner if your Lich is getting hurt, right? Also, it's got 3 armor. The Fiends, well, they have 2 because he upgraded. The Lich, 13% reduction versus 11. Obviously, only 2% difference, but it matters. Also, they take equal damage from normal armor reduced from piercing, as opposed to extra from normal reduced from piercing. In terms of the Fiends, so hero armor is obviously sort of better for that. So he's he's making sure that he's essentially optimizing his coils. He's making sure he's getting the most out of each coil by having the sort of the least damage taken over time. So you only have to coil maybe once, maybe twice instead of 3 or 4 times. Now, you can see right now he's got some cool items, and he's, again, Lich creeping. He doesn't want to creep with his DK, and he's going to use his DK to run around and try to creep check. As you can see, he sees his opponent, his opponent's army. And there's a whole bunch of weak units there. Level 3 Lich, it's cool. But, he's making sure he has a staff, and he sells off the staff of silence, because that's not really very useful. And he could have called some archers right there. All he had to use was hold out, see a bunch of red ones, and pretty much own them. But, regardless, he's got his level 3 Lich, he's got his Naga, and it's like, oh crap, I'm getting attacked. So again, sap teleportation plus TP, best way to bring your army home from creeping. Make sure they're all together, and here we go. Skeletons just kind of go away, and it's ownage time. Now, one of the cool things about his Destros that he's about to have is that they counter bears, which his opponent's getting, and they counter those annoying skeletons that he's going to be fighting against. Now, ultimately, it really doesn't matter that his opponent went Dark Ranger to him, because Fiends are so hard to kill anyway, but he's got his high level coil and whatnot. So, Sugo's going to focus down some of the Fiends, that's cool. But Reveal doesn't last very long, so he's, PhilboT's in pretty good shape anyway. The freaking imbalanced rejuvenation going on. Anyway, he's got a Frost Arrow first, I believe. No, actually, I'm not quite sure. But you can see the nuking is extremely important in this strategy. That you have to, you've got towers at your base, you've got your main hall slowing stuff down, you've got statues. So why don't you play for, picking off units? And that's essentially what his strategy is. It's picking off units. It's getting a plethora of ranged units, getting some healing, and just relying on your heroes. I mean, he got freaking level 5 and 3 and 1 by the time his opponent came to his base. His opponent has level 4 and, a reviving level 2 keeper. I mean, that's how much he outcrept. 4 and 2 versus 5, 3, 1. That's a huge difference. I mean, yeah, sure, we got, a ton of VXP in there at one point, but I mean, still, the amount of, his primary is better than the other guy's primary, his secondary is better than the other guy's secondary, he's already got a tertiary hero, and look, he's already almost level 4, he's halfway to level 2, he's creeping, extremely quickly, and that's what his strategy is about. It's about the heroes. And that's a lot of why he spends so much money on the Modern Necromancy. It'll let you creep bigger camps faster. You know, I mean, sure, you could coil skeletons and, you know, maybe not have to build, maybe not have to use so many, but, you know, it's faster if you use coil offensively. I mean, it's only 100 damage as opposed to 200 HP, but it's faster. That's what it's about. It's not about how much he's spending, because, you know, plus or minus 1 fiend doesn't mean as much as plus or minus 1 level, you know? So right now he should be using Devour Magic creeping, but he's not. So good job there, but, you know, whatever. Not everything goes to diabolical. So he creeps out a little bit, and here comes his opponent. He's pretty much waiting for him to get in his base. He's waiting for him to get into a position where he can actually focus stuff out, that he knows where his opponent's army is, and knows where he can come in to have the best position and do the most damage. You know, if he went in behind the buildings, he'd be cramped and stuck, and he'd probably end up losing heroes, because he doesn't have a TP on him, he has no shop. And he goes up to a side that he knows he has room to get around through. You can see all these trees out here on the right-hand side have been chopped down. And finally puts a shop in a safe spot. Buys a new TP because that's freaking important. Because it's all about picking off units. And essentially, if he picks off 2 bears that TV's out, he's in good shape. He gained EXP and gained sort of a money advantage in that. So, I mean, you know, that would even be sort of an acceptable sort of transaction, 2 bears for a TP. So he's always making sure he has a TP, because losing your army is a lot more harmful. So he getting lucky that Suho's not blocking very well. But, you know, he's running around making sure his DK doesn't die. Now, you know, now for a while he's had his dream army. You know, he's still got those same 5 Crypt Fiends, whatever, that he's had most of the entire game. And he's got level 3 attack upgrade, 1 on damage because it's useful. And he's got destroyers. Now, he's limited a little bit in terms of the amount of gold he has. Okay, now he's got 6 feeds. You know, that is his limiting reactant, is gold. And, you know, he's going off, and he's going to be picking off units again. Now, Roar, bad idea against Destros. PhilboT should be just devouring that like crazy. He's not, however. So, good job, retard. But he should be. Now, you can see Nova going off, and instantly saves. And, you know, essentially Suho's just trying to find something that he can actually kill, you know? And that's still sort of well-balanced army, you know. He's got anti-piercing with all the nuking. You know, he's got anti-archer, he's got anti-bear with all the Destros and the Fiend focus. And so Suho's trying to find something where he can fight and deal sort of damage that you can't remedy with a death coil. So he's focusing buildings. You know, he's coming in there, trying to force TP of his own. And meanwhile, PhilboT's just kind of chilling out, trying to get his heroes up some more. He's trying to get level 5 Lich, level 3 Naga, which he's going to get pretty soon. Which means more AoE nuking, you know, and it's a big deal. So, Death Knight's just going around creeping with his sword. Go Frostmourne. And, you know, he's finishing where he left off, creeping this out, finally devours magic, good job. Deals a little bit of damage there, and he can devour magic again. DK's chilling out, coils up the unit, and he's again trying to get level 5. He can pull the Naga back and probably get it, but oh well. So Lich is rapidly approaching level 5, he's 100 EXP away, which means 300 HP in a battle, or 200 in creeping because he sent his DK away. And here we go again, a focus on the Black Citadel, and now we have a Pit Lord coming up, so a little bit of a different strat there, but again, it's just who can focus the fastest and doesn't get a death coil off of that archer in time. So Suho is just playing the trade TP game, and he's got this freaking Wisp. So, what does he do about this Wisp? You'll see. Boom! Headshot! Yeah, and he kills the Wisp. Good job. Way to go, PhilboT. Alright. Now, he's got full mana on 2 heroes. He's got 2 throws on one of them. And essentially what he's thinking now, at least in terms of what I'm thinking, is let's pick off some units, which is pretty much what you have to do. He also sees, or he also was thinking, I would imagine, that his opponent, for the last 10 minutes, or 5 minutes, whatever, has been coming at his base, focusing his town hall, and TPing out. Coming at his base, focusing town hall, and TPing out again. So PhilboT's saying, well, hey, he's probably going to do this crap again. Let's do something about it by killing his units. Go, go, go. He's running around chasing an MG, and picks up 2 archers and forces a TP. So instead of get your main owned and force a TP from both players, it's kill 2 archers and force a TP. Which is pretty sweet. So, you know, there's quite a big advantage for PhilboT there. Now, Suho's lucky that archers have 245 hit points now. as opposed to their original 240, because otherwise he'd be running around with just his DK, sniping archers for about 10 years, trying to kill 10 and level up his DK. Probably not going to happen, but that's what he'd be hoping for. Meanwhile, destroyers are greater than wisps, and good game wisp. Now again, he sees his opponent's army. Now, Suo's being smart in making a lot of undead, neutral heroes, Dark Ranger and Pit Lord. Now, really, the key of the Grove was to try and attempt a tier 2 rush, try to entangle some of those, what are they called? Holy crap. Try to entangle some of those fiends, and then follow up with, a larger attack. If he could have knocked out 2-3 fiends as some kind of a creepjack, he probably could have won that fight at PhilboT's main pretty easily. However, he can't because of, he was watching it. He only got one fiend, and now he's going to be trying to get rid of this Dryad. However, he's not going to be getting that one away. Good game, Dryad. But guess what? Again, with the main focus, and this time, he's going Breath of Fire, or sorry, Rain of Fire to try to get rid of these freaking Echoes. See, PhilboT might bring back an injured Echo. Yet it's just, siege damage MGs and bears with roar and everything. Right now, if he ate all the roar off those units, he'd be in a lot better shape, but he's not, which is pretty much why he's losing the Black Citadel. If he had eaten the roar off, I guarantee that thing would have lived. That's what you need to do with Destros, Number one priority, I think, should be Devour Magic instantly, because the swords will do more damage than the Frost Nova if you get them some mana freaking fast. You add 20 damage to that 22 to 30, and you've got a lot of damage going on. You've got 42 to 50 splash damage, which is insane. And some of that stays full to full splash. Some of it is only partial splash. I'm not sure. Partial damage. I'm not really sure of the dynamics of that, but it's going to add up a lot of damage very, very quickly, especially against something like bears. Where it doubles it. So you're doing almost 100 damage a shot to every bear per destroyer, and they attack fast. I mean, that's really freaking insane. So, you can see again with some nuking, trying to kill the Druid of the Claw. Then Reveal goes and gets him a free fiend kill. But, now it's time to focus. And now Suho's got, a very good idea in getting these staff preservations. That makes a very big difference. And also, unfortunately he's only, forcing invulnerability potions for his opponent, but, he's just trying to do as much damage to his heroes as he can. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them are undead, so he can only coil just the Keeper, but, still, they're, it's good to get rid of it. It's 150 EXP, something like that. 50 EXP hero's not bad. Gets closer to leveling. His Lich pretty much just needs that to level up, and he just needs one more kill. All he has to do is, use Destroyers on that Dark Minion, and you have it, pretty much. Also, one of the things PhilboT's gotten very good at is burrowing in time. That's a very useful skill if you're going Crypt Fiends. Being able to burrow before it dies. Because you realize that it takes about 1 full second to completely burrow. Once it's in there, it's freaking impossible to get rid of, though. Because even if you have a bunch of archers there, if it has full hit points and you reveal's going to wear off before you kill it. Pretty much guaranteed. In any event, now he's going to pick off units. Suo's of course going to try to knock off the expansions. Meanwhile, PhilboT's going to focus as much as he can, try to force TPs and try to save that gold mine. If he can save the gold mine and force a TP, he's in really good shape. However, he managed to kill the Dark Ranger because Suho managed to miss his TP. Good job, Suho. But he's now sort of trying to focus the right damage types. He's trying to focus the fiends on all the dryads, and he's doing that. And then he's trying to knock out the heroes, but this Pit Lord is boots of speed. You're never going to kill it. So then he's going for the archers because they're next easiest to kill. They have the lowest hit points. Now he's going for an MG, and I can't say that's smart, but mostly the fact that he's got it blocked in is the reason he's going for it. And with that -5 armor, he's actually dealing some damage to it. It's of course got the medium armor type, which kills damage, and it's still got 5 remaining armor, 23% reduction, and then it's got freaking hardened skin dealy, doing even more. And Suo's just crazy slow on that MG with all that Frost Arrow ownage. So, in any event, he's got 6 DK, 5 Lich, 4 Naga, doing pretty well right there. Getting higher heroes. Suho brings back his Dark Ranger, teleports it home, TP, etc. And that's one of the cool things you can do with the Tavern if you have a Staff Preservation. And you have a TP. Now, if the unit costs more than a TP, go ahead and use your TP to save it, essentially. It's something I was talking about earlier with speed scrolls in orc commentaries, in that, if you can use a speed scroll to save any unit, no matter what it is, it's worth the speed scroll, because it costs 50 gold. A peon costs more than that. If you can save a peon, you essentially don't have to rebuild it, so there's 75 gold saved, plus it's 25 EXP that his opponent doesn't have anymore. So that's pretty freaking useful. In any event, he's going again to... Right now he should just focus those druids. I could easily kill them. Instead, he's going for the mountain giant. Okay. And he just saves it. But the pit lord doesn't have anything on him. He takes the pit lord, doesn't have anything on the pit lord, focuses it down, kills it really quickly. Can't coil it, but it doesn't really matter. It's level 1. He's got -5 armor on it. It goes down. Again, this is like crazy keeping the growth thing. Coil. And... Oh, no Nova. Oh, good game. Now, Suo's got MGs in there, but realize that MGs hardly do any damage. As long as you can watch your fiends, you're fine. It's not that hard to micro-crit fiends away from freaking MGs when you have level 3 Unholy Aura on all your units. Pretty hard to lose fiends to MGs. I don't care how durable the MGs are. You pretty much can't lose a unit to them. It's almost impossible. So, they really are just big tanking units. So in any event, we have some Death Knight action going on. He's focusing buildings down. This is all he's doing, because he's figuring, well, my opponent doesn't, and essentially what PhilboT's thinking is, well, my opponent doesn't seem to have a whole lot of units, These expansions look pretty recent. He's going to focus down this entangled gold mine, because that's smart, because that means no gold income. And he's focusing the altar so that he can't get heroes back. He's like, alright, look, all I have to do is, kill these quick expansions, and, he's got the game. That's what he's thinking. He's got 654, he's got really good heroes, he can nuke pretty much everything. He's getting rid of sort of important buildings, but sort of being moderate about it.
Our town is under attack.
But, MG's coming after gold mine equals good game.
Our forces are under attack.
Oh, Dark Ranger, hi. Forked, go! Oh, I should have forked. Noob. Easy kill. Alright, so he's got the heroes now. He's got 654, as I said. That's really good hero levels. Now what he's trying to do is just get rid of expansions. And ultimately, this is going to be expansion killing for the next, 20 minutes. So we're going 3x speed. Alright, 3x speed in 3, 2, 1, plus. Okay, so I am at 26.25, and I'm going 3x speed because this thing lasts quite a while. Alright, so I'm walking you through pretty much what he's doing, and he sees dryads. And again, barrel timing, very important. Ultimately, his strategy is just to focus down the units he can easily kill. He doesn't really realize that his opponent has 7,000 gold in the bank, something like that. He's seeing, some bears, he's seeing some dryads, he's seeing an opportunity to level up his heroes. Saves his Naga, and he's trying to get on Blight, essentially so that he can get more HP on his heroes, on his units, because, he's taking a lot of damage, and he doesn't want to get owned, so... he's trying to add up Blight regen, plus Statue regen, plus Unholy Aura regen. Adds up to quite a lot of hit points really quickly. So, he's trying to pick off units and have his hit points go up by insane amounts every second. And so he's going after this MG, 12 HP, saved, good job. Force another TP, or staff teleportation, that one I think. Revives the Naga, because this time he doesn't have, because really, right now, he doesn't have enough time to save, or to alter his Naga back. I mean, he has an altar. No, never mind, just kidding. I thought he did, my bad. But, yeah, it disappeared. Anyway, but he realizes that, he needs that Naga. It's extremely important, especially when he's playing against these, all these undead heroes. He needs a way to get rid of that Dark Ranger and that Pit Lord, He doesn't have any form of slowing. I'm sure he's got Frost Nova, but Frost Nova stacks with Frost Arrows, so you can bring things to the lower speed cap really, really easily. Now, in any event, he's got this whole Destroyer getting owned deal going on. Good job. And now it's time to focus these Dryads. Essentially what he's going is he's focusing running back, because he's faster than his opponent, His crit fiends move at very fast. They're originally at average. That's what Unholy does for you. So, obviously, he's doing pretty well for that. And in the meantime, he's picking off a unit, running away, picking up a unit, running away. ETC. Definitely can't go. Silence, good game. You probably could have soloed that Dark Ranger though. You probably could have killed it, which is unfortunate. All you had to do was like staff teleportation his Naga next to his Lich and just pretty much kill the thing. But oh well. A level 5 Dark Ranger is a pretty deadly creature. Thing's freaking strong. Meantime, he's sending some Destros over to try to get rid of that tree. Doesn't happen because it was healed up. But essentially, he's camping his only source of income and trying to get enough of an army to be able to actually fight off his opponent. Because despite the fact that he's got 65 food and his opponent has 88, you know, what he can do is just focus, pick off, focus, you know. Do that for freaking every, Gloves of Haste on the Naga Sea Witch, freaking insane, good times, essentially. And go Death and Decay. So, he's sending the Lich on these little suicide runs to go take out expansions and whatnot. But always ready to TP home in order to save some units. Gets rid of the frickin' Keeper, and on he goes again. And, again, all he's doing is picking up units, and it's not so much about the Fiends. Yeah, he's got, 6 something, but it's about the heroes, and it's about Destroyers. I mean, that's really his main units. The reason that Fiends are even useful right now is because his opponent's massing Dryads. He's got essentially the right unit counter. I mean, it's kind of funny because they're countering each other. The fact that Fiends counter Dryads, Bears counter Fiends, Destroyers counter Bears, and Dryads counter Destroyers. So, he's got this sort of like infinity symbol going on, this sort of loop. And, when you've got something like that, it comes down to micro and stuff. It's sort of the sort of dilemma when people make forum posts saying, well, how do you beat this strat, when, he's got these 3 units. Well, then you get these 3 units. But, that unit kills that unit, that unit kills that unit. How am I supposed to win? It's up to micro, That's how you have a balanced game, when you actually have, armies that counter each other, and now it's up to micro to, kill the counters first, and then rely on the unit whose counter you killed. So, for instance, if he gets rid of all those bears really, really quickly, which he's essentially planning on doing with a bunch of focus fire and hero spells, then he's got Dryads versus Fiends, and who can't win Dryads versus Fiends, So, unfortunately for him, though, he's got these MGs in there that really just kind of foul up everything. In that they can sort of screw up feed focus, they just absorb damage insanely well from Destros. You can hardly nuke them. I mean, they're essentially heroes, as far as spells are concerned. They're heroes. So, I mean, they're some really strong units. He's got 3 of them. Enough Dryads that he could, kill all those Destros. Otherwise, he just send in the Destros and pick off everything. And again, you should go on, come in there, focus something, come in there, focus something. And, when his units get low, he's always able to coil. Because he's had statues, healing him for a long time. 27 intels, no small number. And he's like, alright, check it out. I have towers and stuff. Let's freaking kill these heroes. Now, lucky thing for him, though, for Suho, is that he got level 6 Dark Ranger. And this is ultimately, like, the kiss of death for him, because he's got freaking, this, he's got Charm going on. And Charm is like a game. Now, if he could, he'd be getting himself some web. But guess what? He's tier 1. So he's never going to be able to do anything about it. Anyway. What's going on now? He's just focusing on expansions, trying to find where's his source of income, okay, get rid of it, and just sort of work on it. Kill something, come back, kill something, come back, kill something, come back. However, the death of the strat, though, is the Charm. Because once you get Charm, there's nothing else you can do about it. I mean, if you want to play hit and run, well, you're playing hit, lose a unit, and run. And when you have this economic disadvantage, you're screwed. When your opponent is taking off your Destroyers, then he can make bears with impunity, or MGs with impunity, whatever. So you can see, Destro's coming after him. Ownage. It's gonna mean that the Naga Sea Witch is gonna die soon. It's gonna mean his expansion's gonna go down. Everything. So he's sort of waiting and watching, waiting for essentially the unending tide of not enough units to go away. And the odd thing about sort of this game is that despite the fact that he got completely molested in terms of resource score, I mean, look at the gold mine. I mean, 164 versus practically 434,000 gold versus 164,000 gold. He's got like 2.5 times the income. That's insane, 2.5 times the gold versus 3 times the heroes, It's freaking crazy. And sad thing is, he sort of almost pulled it off. If it wasn't for Charm, he would have gotten it. And as you can see, Keeper was a bad choice because he wasn't able to push a tier 2 because of those towers. And ultimately, if Subo had scouted and seen those 2 towers, he probably wouldn't have tried to do that with the Keeper. He would have just picked up the Pit Lord, got up those 2 heroes because you can't coil them, and just worked at it. Because, unfortunately, you get an agility or an intel hero second against Undead, you're pretty much asking for it to die. You get an agility or an intel hero second against PhilboT, who's like mass hero nuke, mass fiend focus fire, it's guaranteed to die. The freaking Keeper got level 2 from creeping and then never leveled up since because he just kept getting owned. He just turned into, money lost and free experience. Luckily, Bremen didn't lose in the game, but, I mean, yeesh, that thing was incredibly not useful. Just Tri-Nuke just owns incredibly hard. Now, in any event, the best way to counter this strat is like mass chimes and enough hippos that he can't web all the chimes and all the hippos so that you can get rid of the destroyers. And what you do is you just slowly, methodically push forward. Now, unfortunately for you, this means he gets a chance to focus something, run back, focus something, run back. And because he has web, you can't really chase, otherwise your army's going to be split in about 5 different pieces. And he will pick you off if you're, only fighting with 1/5 of your army, Even if you have 3 times the income, 1/5, 3 is 3/5, which means you're at a disadvantage. Plus, he's going to have heroes above you guaranteed, so you're never going to beat him that way. Now, ultimately, the way to play the PhilboT strat is you can't really do anything but creep until you get your unit mix. Now, it was unlucky for him. They didn't scout at all. But really, the main thing was that even if he did, he couldn't beat it. I mean, he's going against Dark Ranger archers. You can kill a fiend, it turns into a skeleton. Hi, now you've got a frontline unit. You can bring in tier 2 MGs, and those are going to work pretty well against fiends. He's only got level 4 DK and a level 1 Lich. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage. And yeah, you can pick up archers, but he only has so much mana. He's got 2 Novas, maybe 5 coils, assuming full mana. You can't win a game off of that. So, the one downfall to this strat is that you really can't fight off an expansion. All you can do is creep until your ideal unit mix, then go on the offensive. And if you scouted an expansion, before, if you scouted it like, right around the time you started getting destros, then you would have had a chance of winning, because you've got, you've got his unit mix. He's got his Naga picked up because he's obviously tier 3. He's got his Lich, maybe level 3. He's got his DK, maybe close to level 5. And then that's a big deal. That you can easily win a game with, if you come after the expansion. However, he didn't scout, and that's the downfall. Because you have pretty much one chance to make up for the expansion, and if you don't capitalize it, you're going to lose like this guy did. And, Suho could have kept coming back at him for, millennia with all the gold he had. He would eventually won the game. Now, if Phil had done something like get a Zeppelin and creep the island and put an expansion there, then he probably could have been in a lot better shape, as, no one ever checked there. Best thing you can do if you ever creep an island, I mean, if you ever actually do that in some kind of a crazy ladder game and you're not, like, Undead, going Gargs, sell the item or, like, use it creeping or something, because they're going to know instantly that you crept an island and they're going to reveal. If no one ever, I mean, if they ever see a wand of lightning shield or, a potion of rejuvenation or, like, potion of divinity, scroll of restoration, that kind of thing, they're going to know that you freaking crept that. And they're going to assume expansion. So, be careful of that. In any event, that is the end of this game. Obviously, this is going to be the end of this commentary, I think. Yeah. Funny, some guy just IM'd me saying commentary, please. Whatever, you're a noob. Alright, so I guess this will be the end of this. I hope it's a fairly acceptable commentary. I hope you liked it. I guess it'll be Phreak signing out, so goodbye, etc. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something about the strat. It's not about defeats, it's about picking off units with whatever the counter is and creeping fast. So, bye, etc. GLHF. Yeah.